Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Iman Arai, and today I am sitting with Trevor Todd, a very interesting and successful business owner that I have the pleasure to know him for the past 8 months, and we almost see each other once a week, and I've learned a lot in the past 8 months from him. The way that he does business, the way that he has built his business, and his ideas about marketing, his ideas about um, how to position himself as the go-to expert. And the interesting thing is that Trevor is a lawyer. And usually lawyers hate doing marketing, right, Trevor?
Absolutely.
Lawyers hate to do marketing, and here he is with just sharing his information with people and just giving ideas, giving case studies to people, and technically just sharing stories and being out there and educating others.
Absolutely.
He has built an amazing, successful law firm for himself. Now, one thing before we continue with Trevor, and I get Trevor to start telling us how he built his business, I just want to tell you that today, for some reason, my monitor of my computer is on this side. So sometimes I look back at the monitor to see the things that you are saying. So if I'm looking at there, technically I'm looking at you, and when I'm looking at you, I'm technically not looking at you. I'm looking at my camera, which is a weird kind of thing. Anyhow, so Trevor, welcome to Extreme Business Builders.
Thank you.
And just can you tell us what you do first?
All right. I do estate litigation, which that means that I go to court and I fight over inheritances, wills, and trusts. And basically, my website is called disinherited.com. It's one word and it describes exactly what I do.
Okay. So if anybody is disinherited, then uh, technically you go and fight for them and get
That's
money.
right. Now, in British Columbia, we have some rather unusual laws called the Wills Variation Act, which doesn't exist anywhere else in the world except New Zealand. And that allows an adult in British Columbia who's been disinherited, even though that adult may be working and have sufficient funds, if he or she doesn't receive an adequate inheritance from his or her parent, they can contest the will under the Wills Variation Act. That isn't the case in other provinces in Canada, so it is a bit unique in that regard. But yes, I fight over inheritances, and I've been doing that since I've done it for the entire 40 years that I've been practicing law, but I've done it exclusively since 1991.
Okay. Okay. Now, just to make sure that everybody can hear us properly, can you hear Trevor as well?
Okay?
Okay. Just somebody says, can you please speak up, turn off volume? Uh, there seems to be distortion with Trevor. Okay. We can hear you. Trevor is a bit faint.
All right.
So they want you
I'll lean in a bit closer to the microphone. Is that better?
Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's better. Okay, perfect. I have a loud voice. Every time I sit with another person and we are doing a talk together, then I'm loud and then the other person. Anyhow, okay, that's awesome. That's great. So, Trevor, can you tell us how you built your business from the
Yeah.
first day?
Well, like Iman said, lawyers don't like to market, and I certainly hated marketing because what I understood marketing to be for about the first 20 years of my practice was taking a bank manager out for lunch once a year and kissing his ass for a few more mortgages. No wonder I didn't like marketing. But then in 1991, I had a bit of an epiphany. I had a big trial, and it made the front page of the newspaper. And a wicked housekeeper had moved in on a demented old man, and in short order had him sign the house and the will and everything over to her, and disinherited his two children. So one of the children was a very senior Vancouver City policeman who came to me, and together he taught me how to do an investigation, and I learned how to put an estate litigation file together. We went to trial, we called 20 witnesses, and we won the case. So the wicked housekeeper was on the front page of the province the next morning with their suitcases on the porch being kicked out. And that was my epiphany. I decided I was only going to do estate litigation hereafter. That one newspaper article led to another policeman hiring me the same day, and that was a very slow start to what has become a very busy business.
Okay. Okay. Now, one of the interesting things about Trevor is that Trevor uses beside the regular marketing things that he does, and I'm going to talk to him about those marketing things. One of the interesting things that he does is that he constantly blogs, and yes, I mean like constantly, every single day for the past 3 years.
Yes, I've had a website, disinherited.com, for 18 years. And last year I had 100,000 hits on that website. But after 15 years, I had about 16,000 hits a year. Since I started blogging almost every day, it's increased sixfold.
Okay. Okay, and now that's one of the things, and actually today we were talking about your website and the lead generation power that your website has, and you get quite a few clients from your website every day, right?
Oh yes, every day I get at least 3 to 5 or 6 prospective clients, which they answer my contact me form on disinherited.com, where I offer free legal advice. They fill in the form, they tell me their brief legal problem, and I give them free legal response within 24 hours.
Okay. Now here is actually something came to my mind, Trevor. Why don't I, instead of sharing our picture, share the screen of my computer with people and show your website to everyone, and then show them how the website works?
That would be great.
Okay. So you go ahead.
This website is currently being upgraded for probably the 5th time in 18 years. It's going to have a new look. It's going to be more user-friendly, etc., etc. But the basic concept is the same. Almost everything I know is on this website for free. There's probably 60 articles, 1,000 blogs, innumerable photographs and other interesting aspects to the website, but it is really a complete body of work. One could literally spend all day or many days on the website reading every article, because the blogs and articles are they're detailed. They're not just little cursory comments.
Okay, so now here is the thing. As Trevor said, one thing that he does, he shares information for free almost every single day, and his best information with his target audience, with people who are interested in what he does, and people go to his blog, go to his website. So this is his website, disinherited.com, and then when they go here, they can read articles, or they can go directly to the blog, and they can read the content of the blog. And if you see here, it says November 26th, 25th, 24th, 22nd, 21st, 20th, like every single day almost. He's blogging about something related to disinheritance, and people can read these blog posts. Now, one thing that we usually teach at marketing is that there are 3 goals of having a website, okay? Now, the first goal of having a website is generating a lead. So if you have a business that you can't directly sell your product or services to your clients, then what you want your website to do for you is to generate a lead and generate a qualified lead. And that's exactly what the Trevor situation is, because he can't really sell his lawyer services without talking to the client. So what he does is he generates the lead. So from the website, people can go to contact info. And then from the contact info, this is the interesting thing. It's not Trevor's phone number. It's not Trevor's email address. What this is a lead generation form. And I want you to know that this is one of the things that I always teach people in marketing. And Trevor didn't learn this from this. I definitely can learn all of these things from Trevor and his success. But here is exactly, the format that you create a lead generation form on your website. So people go there, and if they are interested, if they are qualified people to work with you, then they take the time to fill in this questionnaire. And yes, this questionnaire is very, very long, but remember, these people have a problem, and Trevor can help them to overcome their problem. So they take the time to fill in the questionnaires. Now,
and if they don't, I don't give them the free legal advice.
Okay, so so that's as simple. It's just enter your name, enter your email, and fill in the questionnaire so they can get a free advice, right? And so that's a very important thing. that Trevor does. But Trevor, besides your website, so now I'm going go back to our chat mode. Okay. Okay. Now, beside your website, okay, you also do other type of marketing. So I know about 35 years ago, you went to school and started teaching legal advice for free.
Yeah.
Right? So talk about that. Like
in 1974, I was a lawyer. I was 24 years of age, and I didn't know anybody and I didn't know anything. So I thought, how am I going to get clients? So a classmate of mine had started the Vancouver People's Law School that same year. It's still up and running. And I thought, what a great idea. I stole the idea. I approached the New Westminster School Board and offered to put on 6 free legal courses each school semester, so twice a year, for free. And initially, I was met with a lot of skepticism of why, how, who would come. I persuaded them. The first night was family law. We had 95 people. The library was packed, and I did that course for 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
All free. Thousands of people came. So that was my start to marketing. And I've always been pretty creative at coming up with simple, effective ideas that don't cost any money. For example, I've done at least 300 seminars. I love public speaking, and at every single one of them, I announce that you can come and see me for free legal advice. I've written legal articles for 2 magazines for in excess of 15 years. That, of course, gives me high profile and keeps me, up to stuff in terms of new developments in the law, as does blogging. So my personal view is that every opportunity is a marketing opportunity. And the second rule of marketing for me is that perception is reality. I'm not necessarily the best estate litigation lawyer in British Columbia, but I'm probably perceived as the best.
Okay. Now the way that you created that perception is by sharing information and sharing more information.
I think so. I think what I've done basically is just through perseverance, showing up every day, I've created a high profile of myself within my industry. So most lawyers know of me. I get a tremendous amount of work from other lawyers who don't see me as a threat or a competitor, but see me as someone who can help their client who's in trouble, because they know that I'm not going to steal the client from them, because that's all I do. One of the other things I did is that I approached the notary profession about 15 years ago, which was simply unheard of for a lawyer to do, because I was basically raised that notaries are vermin and should be exterminated. I saw it somewhat differently, and I approached them, and they were receptive, and I ended up teaching the notary profession estate law for about the next 15 years, including writing for their magazine and speaking perhaps 10 times at their conventions.
Okay, so technically you found people who could refer clients to you, and you started working with them no matter if, like, you were thought that they're not good enough, or like...
Yeah, notaries were seen as competition to lawyers, and it's just not the case at all. So for the 15 years that I was teaching the new classes of notaries every year, I saw myself as basically the fox in the hen house, teaching them that I am the one and only estate lawyer in the province. I wrote all the materials for their courses. It's still the case. I'll always be a big name in the notary profession until they revise those materials, which probably won't happen.
Okay. Okay, great. Now, one thing that we do at Extreme Business Builders is that people ask their questions while we are doing an interview. So I have several questions here from people, and one of them is Reza, who asks, do you know what's the percentage of your potential clients who become your actual clients from your free legal advice?
You know, I guess if you take the 100,000 people that visited the website last year, it would be very low. But on the other hand, I went to a bar function last week, and it's very gratifying to have other lawyers come up to me and say, you know, if I need to know something, I just go to your website. So they're not going to the website to hire me. They're going to the website because they know that I know. So I'm the expert of the experts in my field. In terms of the general, and those lawyers will refer clients to me as and when they ever need to. But the best part about it, though, is the public really have no idea who to hire. They want an expert. And when they look at my blog and my articles and the length of time I've been doing this, how could they not conclude that I'm anything but an expert?
Now, from the people who you do the free legal advice with, from the people that, like 4 or 5 people who
Yes.
leave their information on your site every day, how many of them do you actually do the consultation with, and how many of them actually become a paying client?
I was telling a man that so far today, by 1 o'clock, I've had 4 new prospective clients. Probably
today.
Just today. Probably by the end of the day, I'll have 6. It's about average. So of those 6 prospective new clients, I'm going to say 3 or 4 will become a client, which is an enormous amount of work. I can't do that much work. I'm a sole practitioner. So what I've done is I've developed another type of practice where I keep the best cases, the most interesting cases, perhaps the most lucrative cases for myself, and the other hundreds of cases that I don't do, I refer to other very competent lawyers who, in return, pay me between 20 and 30% of what they ultimately bill. So I'm actually bringing in several hundreds of thousands of dollars each year for work that I don't do.
Well, actually, technically from the marketing work that you have done, but no law work.
No law work other than I am very good at quickly assessing whether somebody has a good case or not. So I may spend 15, 20, 30 minutes with that person, either an email or possibly in a meeting, and then say, you have a good case, I'm too busy, I'm going to refer you to a lawyer who's very, very good and I work very closely with. Most clients are very happy with that arrangement. The lawyers are very happy because I have scrutinized the referral to them.
So you give high quality clients to the lawyers that you know that they can get the work done.
That's right.
Everybody's happy. Client is happy, you are happy, the lawyer gets the work happy. And all of that is because you have a great marketing system that brings in clients on a regular basis.
Without marketing, I wouldn't be here. It's just that simple. As far as I'm concerned, everything starts with marketing. And you'll never hear another lawyer say that. Whenever I've given talks to many, many lawyers, as I have, I've given a talk on how to develop a dynamic niche practice 6 or 7 times to probably 500 lawyers. And every single time I give that talk, I stress the free legal advice and all the rest of it. But the point is, I am the expert telling them that they too can do it if they just put their nose to the grindstone. None of them ever do. That's why I keep doing it.
Okay.
Probably 1% of the lawyers that I've shown how to do it actually ever do it because they're all too busy. Every lawyer is too busy, but at the same time, they have this tremendous, absurd, irrational fear that they're never going to get another client. So all they do is work, and they never market. Whereas I give priority to marketing, not work, because I can always get someone else to do the work. But very few people are good at bringing in the work. I am.
Okay. You know, this is amazing. You know, sitting with a lawyer, I've been working with lawyers for a long time, and sitting with a lawyer who believes that marketing is the first thing and the most important thing that you can do in your business. Mm-hmm. It's like your number one priority. This is like amazing to see a lawyer choosing between the billing hours and marketing hours. The lawyer goes with the marketing hours, and Trevor is the person who goes with the marketing hour instead of the billing hour. And well, that's why it generates like 5, 6 leads per day, or 3 or 4 clients per day.
Yeah. It was a slow evolution. I mean, at first, I didn't have enough work, so it was work, because I started with basically nothing. I started with a telephone and an empty desk. I then bought a second-hand computer, and I then learned to type. It's 1994. I then got Windows 95, and here I am. it was a very slow process where the work didn't come in for many, many years. So it was only in more latter years that I have more work than I could possibly do that I started to really realize it's marketing, not the work.
Mhm. Right? So that's great. So I go again to another question. Let's see what are the next questions. So after Reza's question is that regarding the lead generation form, okay, so that's good. Okay, how much time each day do you spend on blogging?
Um, it doesn't take long. My blog today is going to be a copy and paste of a Guardian newspaper article from England on euthanasia of youth in Belgium. Okay, so once a week I probably just copy some great article from a high quality magazine like The Economist or a high quality newspaper article if it's topical. The rest of the time I read a tremendous amount of law. And probably for the first time in the 40 years I've practiced, I know a lot of law. And I keep a stack of it beside my desk, and I just grab a case, and every single case I grab is interesting to me and ultimately to my clients because or my readers, because I make it interesting. And if you look at my topics on the blogs, I try and sort of pose a question like, so that you might actually be interested to open up that article and read about it.
So here is the amazing thing, okay? And Trevor, one of the interesting things about Trevor, as I said, like I know Trevor for 8 months, and we see each other at least once a week, and every week I hear a new story from Trevor. So the way that I view Trevor is a storyteller. He's the person who walks and talks and shares stories of all the weird cases around. And some of these cases are like, oh my God. Some of these cases are like, that's disgusting. And some of them are like, did that really happen? Some of them are like, yeah, like it's just every time that you listen to Trevor, he has these amazing stories. And I just want to tell you, like, that's one of the important things in marketing. That's actually a way of marketing. One of the shapes of marketing is sharing stories. And when you share stories, people automatically position you as the go-to expert, as a person who can actually solve that situation. Now, if that story is entertaining, is oh my God type, or like, oh, that's disgusting type, or did that really happen type of stories, then those stories are the stories that people laugh at, people think about it, and it makes them to remember you for for a long time, right?
On my website, there's a 10-minute video that I just had done a few months ago when a man was present, and it's quite entertaining. Um, it's just simply 10 minutes of me telling about 60 people some of my court cases, and most of them you simply couldn't make up. They're so outrageous, they're either hilarious or shocking or both. And it's very, very entertaining stuff. I have been paid at times as much as $800 to give a 40-minute talk to, for example, the notaries convention with 200 people in the room, hanging on every one of my words as I tell them perhaps 15 stories of real cases that I've done. And they just laugh and lap it up. I called my last talk Dysfunctional Families, Tasteless Jokes, and War Stories. And that's exactly what it worked out to.
Can you tell us some of the stories?
Well,
Before you continue, this is a disclaimer. Some of these stories are not really the most not polite, but how can we tell them? I want to give a disclaimer before before everybody starts like saying that these jokes are like not funny.
Like I said, they can watch it on my website. There's 10 minutes of jokes. There's everything from a prominent physician dies and leaves $1 million to her 2 cats and 2 dogs and 4 cats. Well, it's just crazy. And I'm asked what I should do about it. Well, I recommended a bowl of antifreeze. Just kill the animals. And, no, but the Persian cats live 20 years, so they didn't want to do that. So there's 2 dogs and 4 cats sitting in a $1 million house in Point Grey with a caregiver. You just can't make these sorts of things up. Another story, for example, is a husband and a wife lived together for 55 years with another male person. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl, that were so different. And then at age 54, the son finds out that his father, when he died, wasn't really his father. It was the other man. And for 55 years, it turns out that the husband and wife and the other man simply swap partners every night, or each alternate night or something. And it was just, and so most of the cases I have are like that. I can go on and on and on with crazy fact patterns. Now, occasionally I'll come in for a morning breakfast meeting at BNI and I'll say, oh, I had another bridge jumper. A lady jumped off the bridge and I've got to get a presumption of death, or they can't find her body. And people go, no, I don't want to hear about that so early in the morning. Other times it's just, I just try and make fun of it because they're so shockingly, the case content is so shocking, it affects us on a personal level. It could happen to us. That could have been my parent, my brother, my sister that did that. And yet you don't want to go there. You don't want to believe it. So I've had lots of incest cases, and oh my God, if you can imagine it, it's not only happened, it's happening right now. And then at the end of the day, somebody gets disinherited. And that's the ultimate kicker when they come to me. They've had typically a terrible life, and then they get an extra kick in the head from the grave. Okay?
That's...
I can go on with lots of questions. There are lots of stories, but like I said, the 10-minute video on the website will
Where's
really
the video?
Just go to the website. Okay. It would be under media events.
I'm again sharing my screen with you guys, so you can watch this.
It would be under media, I think.
Media and cases. Under media, videos, under videos. Okay, so it's under media and cases, and then when you click here, you see here videos.
Now I've got 25 videos of my own on there, talking about certain articles. So I don't think it's those. Those are my own. It's the BNI video, and I'm sorry I don't know where it is offhand, because the website's being reviewed.
Yeah. By the way, this website is actually changing entirely. So
entirely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe under Whimsy.
Under Whimsy?
Yeah, maybe.
State planning in North Korea?
Yeah, I've been to North Korea 3 times, so I write articles sometimes about various countries I go to.
That to Middle East?
I went to Iran.
Really?
A place called Iran. Open It Up, Adventures in Iran. Yeah, I went there in 2002, I think.
Okay, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm from Iran, so that's interesting too. Okay, to know. Anyhow, so the information is on the site.
It's on there somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so let's see here. The next question from the audience is that Michelle's asking a technical question, so I don't know if you know the answer to that technical question. But then she's asking is that how do you use the external links you have to connect to your web page? So if you have any external, do you have any external links?
Just to my mentee.
Just to your mentee, okay.
Yeah, I mentor a young lawyer.
Okay. So that's the only one you have. Yeah. So that's the next question, and then it says, Michelle's asking that how do we use this product specifically? Michelle, I don't know what product you are referring to. So sorry, can't tell. And M. Boulder is asking, many lawyers choose to use LinkedIn as part of their personal or firm marketing efforts.
Yes.
I see you do not. What's your view on that?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't use it. And probably the reason I don't use it is because I'm 64. A lot of people want to be linked to me, and certainly if I was a young person, I think it's crucial to be on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, My articles are published on Facebook and on Twitter, and I think that's very important to do. But I think it's just an age thing. If I was younger, my daughter, for example, is very, very good at using social media, and she is making leaps and strides marketing a product online without much of a budget at all. And she's the one who I'm in awe of. She uses all the various latest LinkedIn and all sites I don't even know about. I'm sort of beyond that, I guess, is a way of putting it in terms of age, and I'm pretty happy with just what I'm doing right now. But I do find all of these social media very powerful. You simply cannot afford not to have a website and not to do social media. I mean, good heavens, that's just out of the question.
Yeah. Okay, now I want to and Boulder is saying, thank you, look great at 64.
What are you doing later?
Okay. So.
I think it's more I look great after practicing law for 40 years. Not all my classmates do. It's a tough profession. And the young lady that I mentor, where my son is articling right now, I'm constantly cautioning her it's a marathon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a marathon. Have a well-balanced lifestyle. But part of that lifestyle has to be marketing. The only marketing course I ever took was a one-day course in 1994. And the expert left me with 2 or 3 very simple propositions that I've never forgotten. First of all was, where are you? You've landed on a desert island. You have no idea where you are. Where are you? And secondly, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you really, really want to go? And thirdly, how do you get there? That's the tough one. But a lot of people don't even know where they are, let alone where they want to go. The tough one is, how do you get there? Because that involves rolling up your sleeves and doing all the things that I've been doing for 40 years. The other important tip he left with me is he used a very simple baseball analogy. Now, 20 years ago, he said that the difference between the players who earn $1 million a year and $6 million a year was 1 hit a week. Let's get 1 extra hit. That was a very simple analogy that if you do 1 marketing exercise a week consistently, you'll be as successful as I am. It's that simple. That's all I've ever done. For 20 years, I've done 1 thing a week. Well, then I started doing 2 things, then 3. And if you call a blog a thing, I do probably 6 or 7 or 10 things a week now, including this.
Yeah.
This is marketing. There may not be many people watching, but it's still marketing, and I've learned a lot just being here today with the man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle is asking, Trevor talks about referring clients to other lawyers. Can we use this same method with a specific product? For example, with the jewelry?
Why not? Why not? Why is there a Starbucks in Chapters? Think about it. The more you can cross-market, cross-utilize, cross-brand, whatever words you want to use, the more successful you're going to be. It's why there's often 3 or 4 gas stations on a corner. You wouldn't think that would make sense, but it does. It also makes sense for groups of lawyers to all be on the same floor. There's a synergy and a convenience. And why are all the car dealers in one place? Convenience. So by all means, it doesn't matter what business you're in, you can cross-referral, you can be imaginative. What I find is lawyers are very clever people, far smarter than me for the most part. They're just not very imaginative in their business, in their marketing, because they're too busy.
Yeah. One of the things, for example, I'm a marketing mentor, but most of the times people confuse me with a business coach.
Yes.
And many people think that business coaches are my competitors. So what I do is, like, one of the things that I do every week in my marketing efforts is just going out and sitting with other business coaches and having a coffee with them and just tell them what we do. And it's interesting because most of my clients come from the business coaches, but beside my big event marketing mastery summit,
sure,
beside my main event marketing mastery summit, but beside that, there are many referrals that come to me from business coaches or people who have been to a business coach and they've worked with them, and or they couldn't really get the thing they wanted in the marketing sense, and they just refer clients to me. And same thing with me. Yesterday I was sitting with a realtor that her problem was on marketing. Her problem was just being on time and getting things done. So I just simply referred her to a business coach. And so you can do this with everything. When I had my web design company, I had a web design and SEO company, and back then I used to go to other web design companies and would offer them search engine optimization. So say, if you're doing web design and you don't have SEO, we will do the SEO for you. So sell SEO to your clients, and then we'd go to other SEO companies and say, if you don't have web design, we will do the web design for you, and just you offer that service and make money from it. And many of our clients came from just working with our competitors, right? Because all the competitors will just keep referring clients to us for the services. So definitely you can definitely refer clients to people that you feel that they're your competitors,
and get something in return.
Absolutely.
The little quid pro quo. I'll refer to you, you refer to me. That's been going on forever. About 20 years ago, I took a course called Working Smarter, Not Harder, and it changed my life. There were only 20 lawyers there out of 10,000. I took it again the next year that they offered it. There were only 18 lawyers there that year. And I took it again the third time they offered it, when there were only 11 lawyers out of 10,000 that showed up for a course on how to work smarter, not harder. I was phoning my friends saying, you've got to take this course. It's changed my life. It'll change yours. Invariably, the answer was, I'm too busy. You see, now that pretty well sums up lawyers, probably most other professionals that I'm aware of. But I think it also sums up most people, most professions, most businesses. People are just stuck in their ways. And there's always a better way of doing something. Easier, cheaper, better. I'm constantly trying to think of a better way to fix my website or provide better service, etc. But one of the things I've done very well for myself is I'm able to travel 3 to 4 months a year and still work full time. All email.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's interesting thing. Now, Trevor, you said that you're a sole practitioner.
Yes.
But you used to work in a company.
Yes.
What made you to make a decision to stop working with a group of people and just become a sole practitioner, just refer clients to others instead of having a big company?
Well, I have subscribed to the notion, if you want to soar with eagles, don't hang out with turkeys. And I was working with turkeys. I was unhappy. I was the managing partner. I billed twice as much. I did twice as much. I was the only one out marketing at night. After a number of years, I just got resentful and I left. And that way, I worked in a firm for 26 years, 4 months and 11 days. And I've been on my own now for 14 years, and it's just up, up, up. Some people, I think, are just meant to be on their own and trust their instincts and do better. I was more of an entrepreneur than the other lawyers in the office. They were very content to just do the paperwork, and that just wasn't me. I like to have the practice, market the practice, bring in the work, be out there in public, giving it away for free.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, so Trevor, business has yeah. Oh, we find
Yeah,
okay, found us. Okay, business has ups and downs. Can you tell us about like what was one thing that you say if you want to start everything from scratch, like everything from scratch?
Tighten your belt.
You would
have a good line. Well, I did it. I did that. I had some tough years there in the early 90s. I don't mind saying it. I took a risk. There's a few sleepless nights, but I have no regrets. Entrepreneurs take risks. It's that simple. So, if you want to be an employee the rest of your life, you don't take a risk. If you want to be a boss, at some point you take a risk. I felt very comfortable in what I was doing, but a lot of people in the early 90s asked me, are you sure there's enough of this type of work to keep you busy? And I'm like, I have no idea, but I hope so. Well, 20 years later, I can tell you there's lots of work. It seems like 1 out of 3 people in British Columbia expect to be disinherited, and I suspect that probably 4 out of 10 are disinherited. And there's lots of money and lots of litigation, and I chose a very interesting area of law and lucrative.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Dysfunctional families. We've had generations now of blended families.
Mm-hmm.
They don't blend; they lump. When people die, there's litigation. There's so much dysfunctional family abuse and all sorts of, grievances that there's a lot of litigation after death in British Columbia, in Canada, in the Western world generally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
It is. Yeah.
To know. Okay, perfect. So we are at 1:40 time, like we are the 40-minute time of our interview. So I want the audience, if you want to ask any questions, this is the time to start. Like this is the time to ask your questions about anything that is related to marketing or building a practice or just life as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what I'm going to ask Trevor again, because I kind of like their stories. I just like their stories. They're funny and they're like, I just love to listen to them. Can you tell us like 1 or 2 story, like the entire story?
Oh gosh, mine's gone blank here. There's just so many. I had a little old lady come to me recently, and it's a rather tragic story. Her husband of 55 years had disinherited her by giving all his assets to their 3 daughters, who are all in their 50s. And when Mom found out she'd been disinherited by her late husband, she tried to kill herself twice. But the daughters wouldn't give her any of the money that she felt entitled to. They said, well, Dad gave it to us. So I went to see the old lady, and after she got out of the hospital, she's 74, weighs about 88 pounds, and just as frail as can be. And I said, look, it's going to be really, really difficult to sue your own daughters, as much as I'd love to, do this to you. And she looked to me and she said, I don't care. I said, well, it's you're never gonna have a family again. It's gonna be disastrous. I'm just telling you. She looked at me and she said, I don't care. Fuck them. Excuse my language, but when you hear a 74-year-old lady say this, I was somewhat shocked. But anyways, we started off in the lawsuit. We sued the children, and it had a bit of a bad end. The old lady ultimately just caved in and threw in the towel. No, that's not a funny story. That's a tragic story. I was very upset that 3 daughters would do that to their own mother. I think it just shows the sense of entitlement that we live in today's world. Most of my cases involve either betrayal or a certain amount of backstabbing and theft and lying and cheating and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes it's your spouse, sometimes it's your siblings, sometimes it's your uncle or whatever. There's a lot of all sorts of emotional abuses and sexual abuses and so forth. And I've got so many funny stories, and my mind is sort of gone blank now in terms of the funniest or whatever, because on some level, so many of them are just so funny. But on another level, they're really also really tragic. I've had lots of cases where kids have been adopted and then worked as slaves, thrown out in the street at 15, deserted, beaten up, abused. These end up as terrible, terrible stories. I try and make light of them at the end of the day, but they are really quite tragic. And even the funny ones, at the bottom level, someone has still been screwed over very badly, and it's just you're trying to find the humor in the situation. And I try and find that, I think, just to keep sane sometimes, because it's a black sense of humor. But we have so many stories, and I know I keep repeating that. And every week I come to the BNI where I know a man, and I tell them another story, and everybody cringes and goes, oh no. And one of the ladies always rushes back to her office to tell all the other staff what Trevor said this morning. I think a man can vouch for me on some of the stories, because you just can't believe that they're true. But on the other hand, maybe you can, because when you're in a dysfunctional family as so many people are, they often don't realize they're in dysfunctional families. And when they come to me, you think you're the only one who, your dad did this or your mom did this, and they're like often very, very, very relieved to know that, oh my God, it's not just us. We thought and some of the things that go on in households. I mean, I had one lady shunned by her entire family for 6 years. No one would talk to her in the household, her parents or her sisters, because she had the audacity to complain that her grandfather sexually abused her, which he did. So, and then the other sister complained of the same thing, and then you've got 2 daughters in the same household being shunned by the rest of the family. I mean, this is just crazy. And it goes on for years. Or situations where people are held hostages, and you wonder, how could this possibly happen? But people get into some very incredible situations. I know I started comparing stories the other day at a bar meeting with one of the lawyers in a big firm as to who had the craziest cases. And when he told me that he had a uh, 12 witches, I think they're a governor or some word like that,